What were the things that I treasure that I want to remember forever, the magic moments? And what were some of the most challenging times? And what have I learned from that? And what can I take from that to make my coming year and this coming new decade, as we move into 2010, it sounds like a science fiction situation for many of us. What do I do to make that even better? And I want you to know that I'll continue. I've been sending out, I know you've seen different videos and clips to try to offer you additional inspiration and insights. I'll continue to do that over this next coming year, but I really hope that you'll take the time to be grateful for what's been great, decide what has not been that you can use, and take those lessons and invest them in your future. I mean, maybe the best core lesson is for us to remember is that, no season lasts forever. Winter doesn't last forever. Emotional winters, financial winters, challenging winters. Spring is the next season, but we got to make use of winter when it's here. So I don't know, maybe you're in springtime. Maybe you've started something brand new, a new relationship, a new business, and you're really excited right now. Maybe you're in a position where, you've been reaping the rewards of what you've done. But in the physical sense, this year is ending and a new one's beginning, and that's a great time to decide, what is life going to look like for me going forward? What would life on my standards, on my terms look like today? Not based on the old way of looking at my life, but the way I'm going to move forward. And then just deciding what that is and beginning to make that happen, because at any moment your whole life can change. We all know our life can end overnight. We take things for granted sometimes. I had a dear friend and mentor named Jim Rohn, who was my teacher when I was 17 years old. He's somebody that I sent out some videos. I'll probably attach some things to this video or another one about him just to honor him and his teachings. But he gave me a way of looking at life that allowed me to not ask life would be easier, but to ask that I be better. He got me to realize that the secret to life was to work harder on myself than my job or anything else, because then I'd have something to give people. And he really shaped me, and he just passed away, and I was thinking, wow, I'm going to be 49 years old. I met him when I was 17. Think of the fact that my journey is just beginning, and think of all the impact of just a couple ideas had on my life. And I want to really continue to do that for you or anybody you care about. So look for me to be a good resource for you and a good friend in the coming year, but also squeeze out of this time what's going to give you what you deserve, and live in that expectation that at any moment life can change for the better. You can create a breakthrough. You can get an insight or a distinction or a strategy that'll take the impossible and make it possible for you. That'll take pain and turn it into a joy, or take a situation that you thought was so horrible and turn it into fuel to make your life better. The key that Jim Rohn gave me was he answered a question I couldn't answer. I said, all my fathers were good men. I remember I was 17 when I asked him this. I said, but we starved. We had time with no food. We had Thanksgiving with no food. I mean, we didn't die, but it was rough. And I said, they were good men. Why? Why couldn't they make any money? And he said, Tony, we're all equal as souls, but we're not equal in the marketplace. And he said, your job is to find a way to become more valuable to other people and do more for them than anybody else in your category, and there'll be no limit to the quality of your life or the quality of your economics or your business or anything. And he gave me a great metaphor. He said, if you work for McDonald's, and I forget what it was back then, but it was minimum wage then as well. He said, Tony, if you work for McDonald's, you're going to make nothing because the job is too easy. Anyone can learn that job in a few minutes. He said, I'm not being derogatory, but that's why you make minimum wage. And because I had brought up a billionaire guy that made $1.2 billion that year, he was a hedge fund guy. And I go, it seems so unfair when it's school teachers, making $30,000 a year back then. And he said, Tony, that's what it seems like on the surface. But he said, what did that man actually do? He got people 38% return when most people are getting 2%. He allowed children to go to college. He provided businesses, nonprofits. He added hundreds of billions of dollars and he made $1 billion. He said, that's massive added value. He said, so your job in life, and what your fathers didn't learn, is you got to work harder on yourself than you do your job. You got to literally become worth more because you're going to do more for others than anybody else. And I became obsessed with that. And, now I have 74 companies. We do $6 billion in business, from everything from AI to, LAFC sports team, because I know one of you was there in LA, to, you name it, my resort in Fiji. And all that has come because in each of those industries, I come in and obsess on how do I do more for others in this industry than anybody else. And when you do that, you prosper. So I got that from Jim Rohn. I got John Grinder's name you probably wouldn't know, started something called NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. He showed me how you could change people in minutes that, traditional therapy would take years or sometimes never. And I learned it and mastered it. Peter Guber, who's a dear friend of mine in the entertainment business, 52 Academy Awards, nominations, brilliant, has taught at UCLA for 25 years as a volunteer of his time, and as a guy that owns, the LA Dodgers. We own the LAFC team together, owns the Warriors. I mean, he's a genius of creativity. So a lot of these people start as my clients, and they said, I changed their life, but I'm not dumb enough to think that I'm just here to change their life. I learned from them. Somebody like Ray Dalio or Paul Tudor Jones, who became dear friends. I've worked with Paul, coaching him for 24 years now. He didn't lose money for 23 of those 24 years. He had one tough year, but I learned so much from these guys, or Ray, or somebody like, you look over at Salesforce.com and you see this company started by this brilliant man, but he wasn't just trying to build a business. He wanted to have a social impact, and Mark Benioff. And so these guys start as my clients, they become my friends, and then I learn from them, and they end up influencing my life as much or more than I've influenced theirs.
Doubt's like a plague, and one of the worst is self-doubt. There are many, but that's one of the worst. The guy doubts himself, doubts if it'll last that long for him, doubts if he can do that well, doubts if he can make that much, doubts if he can accomplish all that. A chronic, excellent self-doubter. You can imagine what damage that does to your future. So here's the key. Turn this coin over and become a believer. And there's many things to believe in. One of the majors is yourself. Worry. That's a devastating disease. Worry. Worry causes health problems, social problems, personal problems, family problems. It's devastating. Worry long enough, it'll drop you to your knees. Could reduce you to begging. I know how bad this one is. I used to have it bad. I used to be known as a super worrier. Not a super warrior. No, super worrier. My family wished I'd have been a warrior. I got those years to make up for. But I'll tell you what. My advice to you is do what I finally did on worry. Give it up. Who needs it? I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's worth it. It took me almost 1 year to kick the worry habit, and it was not an easy year. It was one of the toughest years I ever spent, but I finally got that monkey off my back. And I discovered you could live the most incredible life free of worry. Not free of challenge, not free of difficulty, free of worry. I learned how to do it, and you can. Over caution. Some people never will have much. They're too cautious. Now, you can also be too reckless, but you can also be too cautious. This is called the timid approach to life. And my caution was always the risk. Risk used to drive me right up the wall. I used to say, what if this happens? It's called the language of the poor. What if this happens? And on top of that, if this was to happen, look at the fix I'd be in. I better not try. I could always ace myself out. Then I'll tell you what changed my whole life when I finally discovered it's all risky. The minute you were born, it got risky. If you think trying is risky, wait till they hand you the bill for not trying. If you think investing is risky, wait till you get the tab for not investing. See, it's all risky. Getting married is risky. Having children is risky. Going into business is risky. Investing your money is risky. It's all risky. I'll tell you how risky life is. You're not going to get out alive. That's risky. The Englishman says, well, if that's the way it's going to work out, let's give it a go. Right, that's what it's for. Give it a go.
Don't live your life on the outside to fill these holes on the inside that you haven't filled. Start the interior work of self-mastery to fill the holes so your mindset, heart set, health set, and soul set are full. And then you'll feel joy when you wake up every morning. And you'll work not for the money, but for the meaning. And you'll create with a fire in your belly that will make you undefeatable. It's not because you're pursuing income, it's because you're pursuing impact and craft and love of you honoring the genius within you. Do you see what I'm referring to? Your outer life, you still might work hard. I love working hard. I love it. But I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because of who I am. I have to write. I have to serve. I have to use the rest of my life to be an instrument of impact for as many people as possible.
Rome wasn't built in a day. We all know that. Everyone hears that. But Rome also didn't fall apart overnight either. It took hundreds of years for Rome to reach its peak, but it also took time, hundreds of years, for Rome to decay and fall apart. And that is representative of life, because you don't achieve worthwhile goals quickly or easily. They take time. They take struggle. They take relentless pursuit day in and day out. That's what it takes. But also, things don't usually fall apart quickly either. At least at first, it's a slow process. A little slip here, a little setback over there, a little wearing down of discipline and will over time.
Because you take yourself out of your dopey little village, and that's just the little bounded you that everyone knows and that isn't very expanded, and then you go somewhere dark and dangerous to the central place, and while you do that, you have adventures, and they toughen you and pull more out of you, like partly because you're becoming informed, which means information. It means you're becoming more organized at every level of analysis, but there's also more of you too.
And so as you study these people and imagine yourself in their position and in your mind's eye, say to yourself, as I did, if they can do it, I can do it. They put their pants on one leg at a time. They breathe air just as I do. And so I believe that what you focus on the longest becomes the strongest. What we think about, we bring about. When you train your mind to serve you,
Yes.
by reading a minimum of 20 to 60 pages a day, listening to audio programs, writing goals down, reading them 3 times a day, you're literally creating a new mental blueprint and imagining and seeing yourself already living from the goal. You begin to do some things that most people look at and see as magical.
Anh hay mơ mộng mình thứ xa xôi, không màng về tình ái muôn nơi. Sống cho là trọn kiếp đây thôi, đâu quan tâm gì chuyện đời. Thế mà lại ngâm tương tư, ông tầm bà mũi xa tơ. Đêm nằm trộm nhớ mơ mơ về ai. Thì ra anh yêu rồi, từ ánh mắt nụ cười, từ đôi môi gọi mưa sao xuyến lòng anh. Thì ra mê em rồi, ngày hay đêm ôm lời, chỉ nghĩ đến em thôi. Đó là do anh đã yêu rồi, anh đã yêu rồi, anh đã yêu rồi. Oh, oh, anh đã yêu rồi, anh đã yêu rồi, anh đã yêu em mất rồi. Anh hay mơ mộng mình thứ xa xôi, không màng về tình ái muôn nơi. Sống cho là trọn kiếp đây thôi, đâu quan tâm gì chuyện đời. Thế mà lại ngâm tương tư, ông tầm bà mũi xa tơ. Đêm nằm trộm nhớ mơ mơ về ai. Thì ra anh yêu rồi, từ ánh mắt nụ cười, từ đôi môi gọi mưa sao xuyến lòng anh. Thì ra mê em rồi, ngày hay đêm ôm lời, chỉ nghĩ đến em thôi. Đó là do anh đã yêu rồi, anh đã yêu rồi, anh đã yêu rồi.